Good evening. Happy post-Thanksgiving everything. I think I'm actually going to be ahead of the curve this time.
Why is it
so we're live. Yeah. She was yelling at her husband. She's very good at that. I think we're all trained professionals. Do you guys yell at your spouses? I was in an IEP meeting the other day, and the teacher was speaking so softly. I was like, well, use the voice for your children at your house. She's like, oh, Miss Cunningham. Yeah. Do people... We're live, Miss Perkins. Oh, she didn't know that. How are y'all? Did you eat too much? Yes. So I made a commitment. I'm never eating another bite of food for the rest of my life. And then I made it till like 11 on Monday. I was like, I eat everything. Every dip, every pie, every gravy. We live in gravy country. Oh, look, the IEP investigator said hello. That's fantastic. All right. And then my husband just texted me. He's just now leaving the Spicy Panda. That's so good to know. All right, kids, ready?
All right. Do you have any recommendations on alternative curriculum for high school chemistry students? I have had several students take chemistry several times and continue to fail. We do not have any alternative classes to take instead, and they struggle and struggle and struggle.
So when you say the word alternative, that's an actual curriculum. Do you mean something different, or do you mean alternative? Because alternative would be a life skills setting, a functional curriculum. So I think the great thing about science or social studies, when it talks about kids with differences, is that we can scaffold it down to their level. We can have them highly participate in hands-on activities. And we can add a lot of supports visually with that. But they don't have to get the depth, and they don't have to get the entire totality of the state standards wherever you are. We never modify curriculum. I know. Y'all are going to put it in the chat. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. There's no such thing as a modified curriculum. We take the curriculum and we modify the depth and breadth that we're going to assess the learner on, right? That's the great thing about the modification. We get to adjust the learner expectation. And so what is the core information you want them to learn? Maybe that those vocabulary pieces. What can we teach and then measure that there's acquisition of that information?
Love it. Okay. Okay, so this one is from a teacher. I have a parent that has requested testing, but the principal has said no, and that 6 months of documentation is needed. I feel that the child needs testing, but also getting struck down. So what are the rights of the parents in this case?
So the parents' rights are the same as they've always been since 1975. There's no such thing as a timeline of documentation. Child Fine 300.111 in the federal code simply says this. And we made the law simple so people wouldn't make it complicated. So this is what it says. The LEA, the local education agency, is to ILE, identify, locate, and evaluate children with suspected disabilities who may be in need of special education and related services. Didn't say jack about 6 months worth of data. Didn't say people have to prove it. Didn't say we tell them no while we do something else. So if you're going to violate my right of child find, that is going to be a state complaint.
Okay. What are your thoughts on students that are eligible for multiple specific learning disabilities for reading? So they qualify for fluency, comprehension, and basic reading, but they're told you only get the minimum services first.
I don't know. I'm from Texas. I don't even know how to spell minimum. So nobody is gatekeeping special education. So this is not, I was in a meeting today and somebody was like, well, you're going to get this, so you don't need that. Special ed is a buffet. So whatever the student needs to benefit from their IEP to address their unique circumstances, we deliver it. So I've had children that have qualified. There's 4 areas of SLDs solely in reading. Dyslexia, based on the acuity. basic reading skills, fluency, and comprehension. Those are 4 different areas. The reason they have different names is because they're different areas. And because they're different areas, you would teach a child a different strategy to self-manage that need. So minimum, I would tell them that I've been vaccinated for minimum and we're going to be a non-consensus.
Okay. All right, so the middle school principal in my district attends all 5th grade IEP meetings and tells them they don't offer resource classes. What can I provide to him to prove that he's wrong?
So unless he's working at the federal level and is rewriting the federal code, 300.115, supplementary aids and services. It's actually one of the primary drivers of LRE. Supplementary aids and services are things that we provide to students with disabilities so that they can have equal access like their non-disabled peers, right? So you can't take out part of the federal code. So 300.115, you just go to ed.gov and type in IDEA and type in 300.115 and it lists it. So you can't take it away. It's not yours to take away. You didn't give it. The federal law did. And then say, do you want me to call Karen? Is that what you want? Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. What would be the reason a parent would request records under FERPA?
Because they want to know what records have been used to assess their child, to teach their child, and to track their child's progress. So anything that has your child's name or ID number on it is the parent's record. Let me be very clear. It's not the school's, right? And so that's why FERPA protects them and they have access to that. Now, depending on the kind of record, you might need to go and view it, but you have the right to view it and receive copies of it. So be very careful, school-based members, if you're typing an email going, oh my gosh, that Karen's an idiot. Mrs. Cabral makes me crazy. Probably don't want to do that on your school district email, right? So, but the records are the parents of the child with a disability. They're not the schools.
Excellent. Okay, so Bridget asked, my almost 7-year-old with autism and apraxia is only qualified for speech 4 times a month. How would I show a need for more?
So a need, what's a need, right? You showed the need. So what is the educational need? Sometimes we have to look at 3 different models. There's an educational model, a medical model, and a therapeutic model. They don't necessarily play nice together. So if you have an educational eligibility of, a medical autism eligibility, you would have to show that there's an educational eligibility or need for autism during the instructional day, right? So from bell to bell or bus to bus. And so what is that need? How does that autism impact him and rise to the level that is more than can be solely supported by a general educator? And sometimes it can be solely supported by a general educator, but if more is needed, then he needs special education and related services. So I would want to know more about what kind of apraxia there is, but the need has to be an educational need.
All right, can a para provide behavior regulation minutes?
I don't know what behavior regulation minutes are. A para is part of the special education team. And so if there's a time where the para needs to support a student who has behavioral needs, well, certainly that's what happens in an educational setting. They can't do it in isolation. They can't do it without a certified special education teacher working with that student first and then modeling those successful strategies.
All right, and then our favorite question of all time. Can SDI be delivered by a para under the direction of a credentialed teacher, and what would be considered under the direction?
Right, so it's a special education teacher that works with the student directly. Say it with me, directly. So I'm supervising you now on TikTok. Am I working with you directly? I am not. So I'm going to a meeting later this week that will be fantastic. A student is in a self-contained setting, and they have, say it with me, 0. Did you say it with me? 0 special educators in the classroom. But they're doing great. So specially designed instruction has to be delivered by a special educator. That is a related service provider, an instructional service provider, or a special education teacher. That's it. And I know that you don't like that answer, but that's the answer. And I file every day on those violations. And my team files every day on those violations. Has nothing to do with whether or not I like teachers. This is not a teacher issue. This is not a teacher issue. Let's stop making it a parent advocate teacher issue. This is a your boss issue. Because your boss and your boss's boss is the school boards. They've staffed every class, every field house, every science lab that they want. And if they wanted to staff your classroom, they absolutely would.
All right. My child with a conduct disorder keeps getting sent home. Are there different supports that they should be getting in school?
So I don't know what a conduct disorder is. I know kiddos that have behavioral needs. So when a child is sent home and they're in special education, should you choose to pick them up, make sure that you email the school afterwards and say, hey, I just want to let you know this is Karen Cunningham. I picked up my child Billy Cunningham today because you were unable to educate him. This will be a day of out of placement. When they call you to pick them up, it's still considered a day of out of placement. So you need to write that down because they may not document it the way you will.
Okay, thank you. Can a special educator serve as an interpreter of results in one of the 5 stakeholder positions? So essentially, can this special educator serve in 2 roles at the same time?
No, not like cinnamon and yeast rolls, but bump. So you can pick who you are at the meeting, but you can't be 2 people.
Okay, so this one says it's a Texas school question, but I think it's fair to say it's across the board. Does the school district grading policy trump an IEP? And I can give you an example if you want.
Okay.
The student fails every grading period. District testing policy weight is 35% of the grade, and the student struggles with the test. So the daily grade is in a 90, but he tests in the 40s, causing him to fail, or her to fail. Can the ARD committee agree to lower that test weight?
So an IEP is an individualized education program for a child with an identified disability. So we deem what's appropriate in his instruction, his measuring, his monitoring, and his grading. And so if we just went by district policy, there'd be no reason to have IEP meetings. So we don't fail kids in special ed because they didn't meet state standards, which we knew they wouldn't meet. So that sounds like a bunch of bologna sauce to me. And I would ask to have that that district policy. But special education students are delivered an individualized education program because the regular program is not appropriate for them.
All right. Okay, so in my child's IEP, it states that they have a classroom aide. Starting in January, a new student will be joining the classroom, and the classroom aide will become his one-on-one. They do not intend on providing another classroom aide for my son and expect the parent to claim both minutes for SIS, scheduled services maybe. Is this legal, or is there any way to fight this?
So it hasn't happened yet. So once it happens, you can file on the violation that you believe that it's occurred for your child. So if your child is not getting the minutes as codified, the conformity of the IEP is not being delivered, then you can file on that either as a federal violation, Office of Civil Rights, which will be doing a training tomorrow night. We have a free webinar on how to file an OCR complaint. I know I'm going to see all you guys there. And so you can register, the links in the bio, or you can file a state complaint. The IEP minutes, listen to me, are not negotiable. They have nothing to do with your feelings, your staff, a hurricane, an avalanche, COVID. They are not negotiable unless you let somebody swindle you. I don't let my clients get swindled.
All right. If a high school student with an IEP wants to take a course at the local college, does the district need to provide SDI for that course?
SDIs solely exist in public schools during the instructional day. And college is not a public school that specially designed instruction is required.
All right, thank you. I have been a teacher for 11 years. My 9-year-old son has been diagnosed with dyslexia. Why are students with reading disabilities not allowed to get the entire reading passage or article read to them instead of just the questions?
Because then you would be measuring listening comprehension, not reading comprehension.
I love it. Thank you. All right, this is from an assistant principal. What advice do you have if a school psychologist appears to not test the student or not collect evaluation data in all areas that the student may need?
I would say, dear Buttercup, or depending where you are in the country, Pumpkin, it appears that you didn't have time to complete the FIE, so we would like an addendum to complete all the needed sections.
All right.
I thought you were going to say, what if it appears, and this is just an aside, this is between us, so don't tell anybody. So I thought you were going to say, what if it appears the LSSP has been drinking? So listen to me. I'm telling you a true story. All my stories are really true. So we were in a meeting. I won't tell you who. Me and my friend. Her initials are T, and then she has a last name. And this person at the meeting was, she had partaken. I don't know if it was moonshine or it was her wedding day, but we had to stop. Like she was like, and I was like, I said, we're going to need to go into a breakout room. I said, it looks like your employee has partaken. So what do you want to do, Miss Cunningham? Reschedule it? What? So anyway, don't make that a clip, Alicia. I just wanted to share that story. So when you said, what do you do when you stop the meeting and say, would you like some coffee? Maybe some bread? Some bread and butter. Would you like that?
I love it.
Yeah.
Is it legal for teachers or admin to record a child on their personal device during a challenging moment after the parent has already asked them not to record their child?
It's not legal for them to record anybody on their personal device. It's not legal for a school to record an IEP meeting on a personal device. It has to be on a school device. I better never find out that you're recording my child, period, because you and I are going to have issues that require tissues and miles and piles of trouble. I pulled open records for a family one time, and we had gone to due process over reading, and they had audios of this little girl reading. Not legal. Yeah.
All right. This is from a teacher. She says, my student is physically hurting me multiple times a day. What can I do?
First of all, I apologize. I was in a meeting one time, and this beautiful young lady who was a junior high self-contained teacher, it looked like somebody had beat up her arms. And I said, I personally want to apologize. The parents want to apologize. We had no idea. And I'm so sorry that your employer doesn't protect you from this. So I would call your union, and I would call, Child Protective Services, because that child is not protected either if they're allowed to be that out of control. And so somebody has to come in to protect that child and get the right staffing for them.
Okay. How do you fight a parent who is seeking an IEP just to cover their kid's behavior?
So I don't take every client that calls me. Every client that wants to go in there and let the school district have it, that's not what we do. We're not in the let people have it business. I don't even know what that means. We've had, my team members and myself have had parents call us and tell us how we're going to do it and what we're going to say, what percentages we're going to keep, and we don't do that. If you're part of my team, you've got to be ethical and you have to be ready to serve the committee. So I don't do that. I would never represent a client like that. And I would tell them in an email, I am not the advocate that you want. I probably am the advocate you need, but I'm not the advocate that you want. I have great compassion for parents. Parenting, period, is hard. But our job is to, write an IEP that teaches your child with disability strategies to self-manage their disability, not to cover or to make something go away. So we're the first people to tell parents it's going to be a no for us.
Exactly. All right.
Exactly.
Says, I love your
Sorry.
Dana says she loves your videos, and you helped her push for her son's IEP.
Oh, awesome. Oh, and I wanted to say hello I met a few people this last week. I met a lovely OT at the baggage claim in Orlando last week. So I can't remember your name, but hello. And then I wanted to say hello to Heather Williams, who I met in Natchitoches, Louisiana a couple days ago on the river where they filmed Still Magnolias. So thank you guys for your support. We love you. We love serving you. We love equipping you. We love, because you love kids, and most of you guys are teachers and school-based members, and we know that we're moving SPED in the right direction.
Exactly. All right. So, my 7-year-old with low processing speed, the school is denying further evaluations, but are allowing RTI for math only.
And get that denial in writing. You guys have to get everything in writing. People say a lot of goofy stuff. Like, I'm one of them. I ask Alicia. She spends most of her days going, ma'am. Get everything in writing. Hey, Amanda. Get everything in writing. So I'm just going to confirm, Cindy, that in our meeting today, you denied me testing for no quantifiable reason, but you're choosing to do RTI. Just wanted to confirm that happened today, November 28th. 2023. So even at the end of a meeting, if they won't capture it in the deliberations or whatever, I respond back, I'm going to make the paper trail.
All right. Can a school district have a policy about where the cutoff is for an SLD?
Where the cutoff is? So here's the good news. The National Association of School Psychologists have great documentation. I think we just trained on this about SLD identification. Here's the good news. It doesn't even matter what state you're in, even if you're in Indiana. Did I say that? It's a committee decision. We don't live and die by numbers. If that was the case in special ed, Alicia would do an evaluation, Quinn would do an evaluation, Christina would do an evaluation. They would just email you and tell you what's going to happen. It's a committee decision. And we're supposed to sit there and have a robust conversation about the acuity of a child's needs. It's not about a number, it's about a need. What are his unique circumstances? And thank God his circumstances are not a number. But we have enough data, specific learning disabilities. You look at the totality of time. How has he shown up? How is he struggling in those learning areas?
All right. Okay. The most desperate question of the day.
Okay.
Where did you get your glasses that you're wearing tonight? And they're not linked in the bio, but we need them.
Well, I'll have to get my other glasses to see. I think I got them. Because, I get them. Oh, this place that I go to, Marshall's. 3 for $9.99. Yeah, I only have about 8,000 pairs of glasses. But you want to have glasses to match every outfit. And if you're having a tough IEP meeting, they don't get purple. They get these. These were the glasses I wore today. These were I'm not having it today. Yeah.
All right.
I'm telling you, the glasses get you to consensus. We should sell our own line of glasses, Alicia. This is the consensus, and this is, I think I'm going to have to file on you. What's that lady at the beauty shows, like the New York shows that has a little haircut, and she wears those glasses? Anna. Come on, you guys. Somebody knows. She's the famous one that has like the bangs and the little bob haircut. One of y'all know. Somebody? Anybody? All right. They don't know. All right. Anna Wintour. Thank you, Anna Wintour. Thank you. And the winner is, yeah, look at all the smart people. Look at all these people.
It's not me.
That's funny.
Okay. I've asked the school to send home my son's completed work. ever since they figured out I was scanning it to show a need, they refuse to send it home anymore.
Right. So here's
I get it.
yeah. So this is not. So I don't do anything secret. Please send home his work so we can reinforce the areas that you're working on, just like I would do with any other child. So I can't support you. You're denying my ability to support you when you don't send home his work that he did, right? That's what homework is for. That's what I'm going to work on. Grandma's going to work on. Dad's going to work on. The tutor's going to work on. But you denying it is going to keep me from helping him be successful. And then real quick, when you're having a great IEP meeting during the holidays, you put these on. So, all right, next question. They're stunned. They can't even ask a question.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Ma'am, this is serious. I'm going to need you to ask a very serious question. Okay, go ahead.
We have a new student whose behavior is out of control, refuses to work, walks out of class, basically does whatever he wants. We were told we have to accommodate these behaviors because they cannot suspend him. His IEP is for a learning disability only. I've been studying the procedural safeguards and I need some more advice.
Sure. So if there's an educational need, there's an educational need. So immediately, because he's in public school, I would get him psych services, because that can be offered to any child that's general ed 504 or an IEP. And I would immediately ask for a reevaluation of existing educational data to look at consideration for another eligibility. But no, we don't let him just walk around and run the show. All right, that's as long as I can wear those glasses, ma'am, because they don't have any, I can't see out of them. But they're very cute, aren't they? It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Christmas is, yes. I have a student who received 90 minutes of behavior regulation support daily. Does that have to be with a special education teacher or can it be serviced by a arrow?
I don't even know what that means. Behavior regulation support. I have children that need behavioral support, functional support, academic support. I probably could use some behavioral regulation support. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Can the minutes be served by the para or does it have to be served by a sped teacher?
So it depends on how it's listed on the schedule of services page, but that's a special education service. Will there be times where a para steps in and helps with part of it? Yes, but the bulk of it has to be delivered by a special educator.
How does an MDR differ from a BIP or an IEP meeting? And what is the best practices to manage the expectations?
That was a lot of questions. So a BIP is a behavior intervention plan for a student that has behavioral needs. There's 3 levels of behavioral need. I need an accommodation. I need accommodations and goals. I need accommodations, goals, and a behavior intervention plan to mitigate these behaviors that are impacting his access to education, his learning, and other people's learning. An MDR is a manifestation determination resolution meeting, which is had when there's a student with an identified disability under a 504 and IEP, and there might be a reason for a disciplinary action. We have to look at one of 2 questions. Was the action a result tied to his disability, and or was it a result of the IEP not being implemented? An IEP is an individualized education program, and we can have a million kinds of meetings around that.
Okay.
That was like
A lot.
the whole thing, the whole enchilada.
This is a lot too.
Okay.
How do you deal with a school district that does not follow accommodations?
Oh, I deal with them very clearly with my friends at the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. At any time, I have over 100 OCR complaints open, federal complaints, and we are training tomorrow night on how you can file effective OCR complaints.
Okay, so this gal, she went on to say that, like, how do you deal with doing what is best for your child, but not to a point to where they start to discriminate and retaliate against the child? So the child needs a high level of needs, but if they ask for it, they're going to be discriminated against.
So, I mean, that's a loaded question. You think that's going to happen? Most people that I deal with don't do something because they're afraid of what's going to happen. I don't come at advocacy that way. I have an expectation that the professionals are going to deliver his IEP or his 504 in totality. I think parents are afraid to ask what's their federal right. Special ed is a benefit that you receive by being an American and by having a child with a disability in public school. So I don't go in there and go, oh, I'd like, 3/4 of it or, 60%. Deliver the IEP. If somebody prescribed your child medicine and they prescribed 3 medicines and the school only gave them 2, would you be okay with that? No, because that's a violation of what they need. So you need to make sure that you are clear and clean and stick the landing on your position. I expect that the IEP to be delivered in the conformity that we agreed to. They signed off on that. Your school receives state and federal funding for your child.
Thank you. This question comes with a story. So I called a meeting to discuss behavior. The team agreed to provide a service for a student this is a teacher, after reviewing an extensive amount of data. After the meeting was over, the principal reached out to the SPED director. She immediately told us she would not approve of the service and we would need to change the IEP back. I refused to do so, and the principal called the mother to set up a meeting. The principal had a different SPED teacher change the IEP back, and the parent agreed to the changes. I immediately quit my job. I never reached out to the parent to tell her about the violation, and I truly feel like she didn't know any better. Can a former teacher file a complaint on behalf of a student, or does it have to be the parent?
So when I file a complaint on behalf of whether I'm in a state where I'm allowed to interpret state and federal special education law without being a litigator, and I'm not a litigator, but I file on behalf of parents. Obviously, I have an ROI, a release to do that, whether it's a state complaint or a federal complaint. You would have to have their permission to file on their behalf and, be that point person for that filing. I don't think you've done anything morally corrupt. I don't think you've done anything wrong. We would love for you to come and be trained by us and be an advocate. But I don't know that I would contact the parent. I don't know that I wouldn't. So that's going to be a decision that you have to make. But, schools, unfortunately, sometimes put their staff members in unethical situations.
So true. That's so true. How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, girl.
I saw your hair. Come on now. It matches my sweater.
It does.
Yeah, I like it.
It's the whole thing.
I know.
Okay. All right. So I've been, in the chat helping people out, but they had a couple of common questions, so I figured I'll jump on and me and the boss will answer them.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. How does one train to become an advocate?
So you can take our training on demand. We have a 2-day training that you can take it right now. And as things would have it, we have a training this weekend, December 2nd and 3rd. It'll be live and interactive. We have a ton of people coming, which is going to be super fun. And then starting in January, we will have a 20-hour, 10-week mastermind for those that want to become professional full-time advocates. And then, of course, we have a la carte classes that you can take from our website. The link's in the bio.
Perfect. And then a few people are wanting to know, if you do consults, how do they contact you? How do they find an advocate?
Yep. So just reach out to advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. Myself or our team, we do records reviews after we have a consult to see if we're a fit for you guys, where we would get all of your opening documents. We review them. We set up a Zoom. We talk about next steps, considerations, and the process. And then we have as high as representing families all the way through federal complaints.
Perfect. And people are asking about the OCR webinar tomorrow. Will they be able to ask questions?
You guys, it's me. I live for a question, of course.
Okay, perfect. And then someone was asking that they've heard you talk about the academy, but they don't really know what that is. Can you tell them?
Yeah, so every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central, we have training in Special Education Academy, where I train on the federal law requirements and application of the law. And then we open it up for questions, and we have hundreds of people in the academy. It's great. We have people from sea to shining sea. We equip each other. There's parents, teachers, superintendents, everybody in between. It's a great group. And we talk about real information that you need to be successful, IEP or 504 team member, however you come to the table.
Perfect. And then we had one more question. Do you teach advocates how to set up as a business?
Do I?
Yippers!
Yes. And how do I do that?
You know, you're just awesomely and amazing, and you teach us on the 2-day, and then you teach us in the academy, and then you teach us in the mastermind, and then once they've done those, they get to be in your office hours.
Yes. And then we have also one-on-one training that we do. So all of that is to set you up. A lot of people are choosing to help kids from the outside in, becoming advocates. I don't know of a field that needs more great workers. There's 7.5 million children in America with an IEP, more millions and millions of children with a junk 504. Did I say that? Yeah. I live in a city of 7 million people in Houston, and there's about 3 advocates here, and one of them we won't count. So come be an advocate. We would love, love, love to train you to serve families.
Okay, I did want to respond to one person that asked if we can turn the captions on for the live. I don't know how to do that, but I will research it in our next live. If it's possible, we'll get them turned on. Okay. All right, and then a lot of people are very interested and want you to know how much they love your outfit.
And the glasses, do you like the glasses? The glasses are...
Lipstick.
The lipstick is brand new. It's from Folklore. It's number 26. It feels a little like, Tommy and Pamela, but I like it Picasso. So we love y'all right back.
Perfect. Okay, and then someone said, I'm a SPED teacher in Houston. Can I also be an advocate?
Yes, and somebody just said they were in Michigan. I was in Michigan today, and I heard that it was 18 degrees. It was in the 60s today. We almost closed Texas. Our training is if you live in the United States. So wherever you live, you can advocate. I have clients all over. I've been sitting at my desk advocating, have not been to a single IEP meeting in person since Friday, March 13th, 2020, when we had that thing that we had to wear masks and they tried to ruin the lipstick industry. I don't know what they called it. I think it was COVID, right? So I have been sitting here doing mediations, federal complaints, due process hearings, trainings, and representing people from all over. So if you have a laptop and some Wi-Fi, you can advocate from sea to shining sea and help families everywhere.
Exactly. Okay, so what if you have an IEP and you move and now the district is telling you that you have to start the entire special education process over?
I would say, silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Don't start the process over. By law, the new district actually has to accept your IEP and implement the totality of it, and then they have 30 days to do a transfer ARD. So, silly head. Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Daniela said, I brought an advocate into my meeting today and the whole vibe of the room changed.
It's like perfume, isn't it, Christina? What is that?
Oh.
That is pants on fire, and we're not going to have any line today. That's what that is. Mm-mm.
Exactly. All right, this is the new theme of the house. They're moving all of our EC teachers to cover general education rooms and bringing in paras to cover EC.
Okay, we're going to have to clip that. I'm drinking egg drop soup out of a straw, and it just came out of my mouth, which was like a worm came out of my mouth, but it didn't. You understand. I'm drinking my dinner. So let's just start that over. We're going to cut that out, Alicia. That's not going to be a clip, correct? Correct. Okay, ask me again.
It'll be a clip for me.
It will not be a clip. Okay.
They'll be the best of.
Thank you.
The best of the
Yeah,
boss.
the pants on fire special. All right, try again, Christina, with feeling.
All right, with feeling. Our lovely, amazing early childhood special education teachers are being pulled to cover gen ed classes, and we have uncertified humans going into EC with our teeny tinies. What should we do?
So you should do what I'm doing. I'm filing on every single one of them. Everyone, everyone. The federal code 300.156 lists the requirements for special educators. No exception or exemption. No exception or exemption. You know why they do that? Because a lot of kids with disabilities couldn't even report that to their parents. So it's past disgusting, and more importantly, it's illegal.
Absolutely. Say that again.
It's past disgusting, and it's illegal.
Yes.
Oh, the code is 300.156. That's in the federal code. It tells you the requirements for special educators.
Yes. And follow up for that one. Is there a para model?
Oh my gosh. Is this a trick question? I have a school district. They're probably watching now. Hi guys. And I'm lighting them up like Christmas Eve. It's not here yet, but it's coming. If you really think I'm going to sit back and let you tell me in meetings that our district does the para model, I don't know if is that a swimwear line? What are you talking about? There's no such thing. I also was in a meeting the other day, and they told me that they were only going to give speech push-in the class. It's a classroom model. What? Yeah, because life skill kids. That's what I said. And then I had a drink of my soup from out of my cup. So, it's going to be a no for me. And I will file on every single one of them. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care if we used to be friends. I'm going to file.
My 4-year-old is nonverbal. The school district said if I can get an AAC device, that's fine, but it's my responsibility.
Assistive Technology Act, the Assistive Technology Act of 1998 provides federal funding for humans that are Americans that have an identified disability for assistive technology services, and assistive technology devices. So if you're in public school, if you're an adult and you have a job, it's a requirement. It's a federal requirement. So it's going to be ixnay on the Obits Day. I don't even know.
Are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Well, we want to say hi to Shannon.
Well,
I'm doing the
ma'am,
rapid
I'm
fire.
about to introduce her. She's gonna read them.
But don't people have to do emojis? I like emoji moments.
No, look, they're doing.
Alicia's got them going.
As soon as I say rapid fire, they start adding them.
Okay.
They know how to get our attention. Okay, so we're gonna do rapid fire questions, and Shannon's gonna take it away.
Okay, let's go. Do you have books available, or do you recommend any books?
Yes and yes. So we have books on my bookshelf. If you go to my link in Amazon, my amazing, lovely assistant has made me a bookshelf of all the things that I want you guys to have and to use that will equip you as you navigate and negotiate successful IEP meetings.
Can a general ed teacher plus specialized para meet IEP service minutes?
No, because you don't have a special educator. There's no such thing as a specialized para. I'm sorry. There's paras, and I love them. But when you look up somebody's name on the state's website, it never says specialized para. It says level 1 aide, paraprofessional. So let's stop adding another name to manipulate what parents think is happening for their child. And that's not a teacher issue. That's an admin issue. I was in a meeting the other day, and somebody said it was a certified special substitute. I said, what's special about them? And they literally said she's been doing this a long time. What? I'm a specialized hair model. But I'm not a certified teacher or a certified special ed teacher.
Okay, do you have an IEP every meeting, or just one, and it's ARDS afterwards?
And it's what afterwards?
An ARD. So I think they just want a little clarification. So the IEP is the document, but I think they're referring to like the meeting type there, you know?
So the document's called an individualized education program, except in one state. What state is that? Texas. So we call it an ARD. And the acronym stands for Admission, Review, and Dismissal, which is a good acronym. So I just call IEP documents an IEP meeting an IEP meeting. In Texas, we call it an ARD. In Texas, if you said to somebody, I want the IEP, they would send you the goals. So it's an IEP.
Can a 7th grade resource teacher be certified as a generalized special education 913 K through 6?
I don't know what 913 means. You can hold 100 certifications. I've pulled up people's licensures and they were principals, they were diagnosticians, they were ESL. You can hold any kind of certification. You can only act in one role at a time.
My child is having an IEE. What should I be looking to get out of it?
So you want to make sure that you pick a good evaluator, that you're very clear with that evaluator what your expectations are for the components of the testing. You know, make sure that evaluator gets out the teacher input forms to all the teachers that educate your child and waits till they come back. And you need to make sure that you understand the components of what they're evaluating for. Is that to look at new eligibility? Is that to look at areas? Is that to look at acuity?
Can I get an IEP for my child if they have behavioral issues?
You can get an IEP for your child if they need specially designed instruction. And that specially designed instruction could be in behavior, function, academic, or related service, eating, vision, hearing, ambulating, any educational need.
Can the school recommend to move an autistic child to a different school due to lack of resources?
The school can recommend to move a child with a disability to another school if that's where they have the program or the staff. Yes, they can. They can't do it because they're too lazy to staff their own school. So I have a situation, which is a lie. I have situations at schools where we have all confirmed there's no special ed teacher in the room. We've all confirmed. And both schools in the meeting said, so, you want to send him to another school? What? The data that the school would have to pass an audit that we had to remove a child with a disability from their home campus is not going to pass the sniff test because you said, we didn't staff the room.
Can a school deny giving us the IEP before the meeting?
Yep, the school can deny that the whole time. The only language in the federal law about the school providing the parent an IEP is that they must provide them one at no expense. So this is what you do to get the IEP ahead of time. Dear Buttercup, we look forward to our meeting Thursday. Please provide us a full draft copy of the IEP document, knowing that it's just a draft and all decisions are made in the meeting. Period. Without that full draft copy ahead of time, it's unlikely that my client will be able to make an informed decision and we may have to reschedule. So we're trying to cooperate with you. And I wouldn't put this part in there. But if you're going to deny me the ability to prep like you had, then you're denying me meaningful participation. I would never want to reschedule and waste everybody's time. But it's certainly your decision. We look forward to working together. Now, for some reason, if I don't get it, which rarely happens, at the beginning of the meeting, I'll say, okay, Shannon, now we're actually in the meeting. Could you please email me the full draft copy of the IEP document? Okay, well, I'll get it to you. Okay, I'll wait. And I'm going to have her email it to me, and then I'm going to print it out. Because as I'll teach you in my trainings, I always have 3 things on deck. The last full FIE, last year's full annual IEP meeting, and this year's full draft. I'm not, there's no gotcha. But when you refuse to provide documents for the child that we're talking about, you look suspicious. I don't. Yes, I come to New Mexico. Can we just meet in Ruidoso? Can we do that? And we can go shopping? Sorry. Do y'all want to go with me to Ruidoso? Yeah, we're all coming. We're all coming to Ruidoso.
Can a student's one-to-one parent attend the IEP meeting?
I wish they could. I can count on one hand the times that I've ever had a parent in a meeting. This is how many times in 27 years I've ever had a parent IEP meeting.
What if a school says they have no program for a special needs child and won't do anything else about it?
Oh, well, that would be a problem in America. They wouldn't say that to me. I would email them back and say, it looks like we need to call a meeting to look at out-of-district placement at the expense of the district, as you are no longer able or willing to provide him an educational product to meet his unique circumstances.
What would you expect to see in the draft?
Information about the student that we're writing an IEP for, right? So I want to have meaningful input. I don't want to sit in a meeting and go, okay, Christina, where'd you get this goal from? Where'd you get this from? Where'd you get this from? We're missing stuff in the document. So if Christina's kind enough to share the draft, which is what teams do, they share documents, then I could say, hey, Christina, I know we're having our meeting Thursday. Could we get a little more information about, Reagan's math levels? And then also, could you put his independent and his instructional reading level in there? Thank you. Because when we have the document fully populated as a draft, then we can have robust conversations instead of, Christina, can you call Quinn? Quinn, can you call Nancy? Nancy, can you call Joe? Oh, he's not here. We went to regionals in baseball. I was in a meeting today. The child has 3 reading disabilities. Guess who was in the IEP meeting? His art teacher. Doesn't have a specific learning disability in art.
Okay, we've had a couple people ask about complaints. How do you file a complaint, and then what happens after you file an OCR complaint?
Well, you know what? I'm going to answer that for over an hour. Tomorrow, Wednesday, November 29th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I want you guys to log on so that we can all be there and we can talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to teach you and equip you how to file effective, meaningful, and purposeful, and effective, did I say effective? OCR complaints.
Okay, and what do you have going on tonight?
Well, I have a hair styling class at 11 p.m. if you're up for that. But for the rest of us, we have the Academy at 8 p.m. Central, so we want to see you guys there. Alicia, could you tell them how they could join us in the Academy if they're not already in the Academy?
I sure can. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to www.specialeducationacademy.com. Across the top, you're going to see the Advocate bookshelf she was talking about earlier. And then also you'll see tabs about Karen, all this other stuff. But then the most important, the training tab. You're going to click on that training tab. There you can find how to register for her Zoom tomorrow night. You can also find how to register for her 2-day this weekend. But more importantly, you can find the Academy. So you're going to click on the Academy. You're going to fill out all your information. Yes, including your credit card information. And then you're going to, in the box that says coupon code, ? You're going to click on that, and in all caps, you're going to type in TikTok Live. That's T for Timothy, I for Indigo, K for Karen, T for Timothy, O for Oliver, K for Karen, L for Levi, I for Indigo, V for Victory, E for Elephant. All caps TikTok Live, and you're going to get access to the Academy for 15 days for free. And what happens after the 15 days? Well, stay, hang out, look over our 300 hours of training that we already have in the Academy, and, meet with us every Tuesday night where you can ask Karen questions live. Decide you don't want to stay after 15 days? That's fine too. All you have to do is cancel your subscription. Cancel, join back. We're always here. Come have a great time.
And everybody bring a covered dish. I'm just saying. Yes. So listen, we love you guys. If we didn't get your questions, send them to us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. We will see you in the Academy. And remember, we get it right for the child. We get it right for everybody. We'll see you guys in the next training.